Okay, guys, we're going to just talk very quickly about the trend of this recreational sales goods. We know that it's in millions of dollars of sales. We know it's monthly data. So these are things that we know. So that when we look at this graph, when you talk about trend, you must talk about the trend line itself, this red trend line, not the raw data. You do not use the raw data. You can use the raw data basically to talk about where it all begins. So you know it starts in the 5th month of 1995 and it ends somewhere on the 9th month of 2010. You can talk about that, and you should talk about that, but you do not use the raw data to make your estimations. So you always talk about the overall trend. Is it increasing, decreasing, or staying the same? And in this case, it's increasing, obviously. And if it's increasing, you need to give evidence. So you basically say the overall trend is increasing from May of 1995 to September 2010. Then you give evidence. You state where approximately it begins and where it ends. So approximately the increase is from approximately 120 million in sales, dollars in sales in the 5th month of 1995 to approximately $180 million in sales in the 9th month of 2010. So you've covered that overall trend. Do not use the raw data. All right. Now, once you've covered the overall trend by saying what's happening in the beginning, what's happening in the end, use your time units. If it's monthly data, you should talk about months and over the years, 15 years or whatever it is. Now, remember, it's 15 years, 1995 to 2010. That's all basically May, June, July. It's almost all of 1995 to September, almost all of 2010. So make sure that you talk about 15 years. Now, there's two things going on. There is this steady increase, a fairly steady increase, all the way up to approximately here, which is, by the way, around 2007. All right, so there's this steady kind of increase in sales. And then at 2007, the thing that happens then is that you kind of have this leveling off. It kind of levels off. Now, within that leveling off, around 2008, there's this dip, and then it sort of rebounds again, and then it starts to decrease towards the end of the graph. Well, you need to speak to all of that because there's not much going on between 1995 to 2007. So you basically say there's a pretty steady increase over that time, right? So there's over here, I can't really mark it, but there's a pretty steady increase over the months between 1995 to 2007. All right, so you say that. You say that that's what's happening, and then you talk about the fact that after 2007 we've got this dip going on, and that's 2008, which is when the recession hit, and so recreational good sales sort of decrease, and then they kind of rebound by about 2009, late in 2009, and then by 2010. They're still rebounding, and then towards the middle to the end of 2010, we're dropping off again. And now you've got to give values for that and evidence for that. So after 2007, the graph flattens out, and in 2008, there's a drop in sales from approximately $200 million in sales in 2007 to about $170 million in 2008 in sales, and then it rebounds by 2009. About the middle of 2010, the amount of sales seem to be falling off again. Now that's a fairly complete trend discussion.